Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and Miniature video. This video, we're going to be starting a whole new project as we've finished our previous projects. This project we're going to start is going to be the Market Garden project. We are going to be working on multiple Market Garden armies and terrain and an actual campaign game. Now, let me tell you how I got here. Well, I got here by driving the car. No, seriously. Let me tell you how I got here. My thought process. I like to tell you my thought process at the beginning of the project, and then you can follow along with the production of the models, with the terrain, with the painting, the scenario concepting. Basically, you get to enjoy the whole project from start to finish with me. And I'll put these videos out. I try to get them out about twice a week, but sometimes it's about once a week, or it just depends on how much progress I've made. If I've made no progress at all, then I'm not going to put a video out. But if I make any progress at all, I'm going to kind of let you know. Like, hey, this is what we've done. We put this building together and it looks really cool, or whatever. Okay, so my thought process. I want to play some miniatures. We want to play miniatures, and I want to play it pretty extensively. I'm pretty much getting away from role-playing games. We've been playing a lot of role-playing games on Thursday night, and I've kind of been gradually weaning my players off of the role-playing towards miniatures. Some players have approached me and they said, hey, Mr. Everything, we'd like to really play some miniatures. And I was like, okay, that's it, we're doing it. Now, they said they want to play some like sci-fi stuff. Well, I'm not really a big sci-fi miniature player. I do have some sci-fi like Gates of Antares, but I'm more of a historical miniature player. So as a kind of a compromise, I thought, hey, we could play some bolt action. Bolt action's a World War II, super, and I dig it a lot. We can play some bolt action. It has guns, tanks, built, modern buildings, things like that. So I said, okay, well, let me think about this bolt action. I've got a campaign written by EZ8. EZ8's a company that's gone out of business a long time ago. They made their own 28mm models, but there was a campaign called Key to the West. And Key to the West it's a Battle of the Bulge campaign focusing on Piper and his Conf Group X, where they would make their way to the Meuse River, but also like to get it's what the movie Battle of the Bulge was based on. You have the fuel dump they have to try to capture. They've got the bridges they have to capture. They have soldiers that have dropped in behind enemy lines, disguised as MPs, switching signs around, messing up the Allies' lines of communications, giving bad directions, blowing up bridges that that the Allies need, things like this, and or preserving the bridges. Actually, they would go in and cut the wires and stuff. But okay, so I thought that would be a really cool campaign. And the Key to the West is very structured and organized, where it has all these maps laid out, and the players make armies with points from EZ8. But I could convert to bolt action, that would be no problem. They make their armies, and then they move them around on this map strategically, and then depending on where the Americans and the Germans meet, there would be a battle. I think that's a really cool idea. And so I've been gradually starting to convert that to bolt action. I've been doing that over the last year or so, kind of just periodically I'd jump on there and I'd start working on things. So I'm already prepared to run something like that. And I talked to one of my players and I said, hey, if we play some bolt action, what force, what would you like to play? And he said, oh man, I'd like to play the Japanese or the British. Unfortunately, the Japanese and the British are not in that campaign. So I was like, man, that sucks, because I said you could play the Americans or the Germans. You know, that's pretty much what you're stuck with. And he was like, okay, cool, whatever. But then it's been kind of eating away at me, you know, because I want to make him happy, but I also want to run something that he could be in, that he would enjoy, that he would play. And I know that's catering to one player, but the other players would also enjoy it. I know they would. So I'm not making everybody else mad by playing a game where British are in it. I'm just making one guy more happy, if that makes sense. Does it affect me either way? Yes, it does in a little bit, because I don't have a campaign written for anything with the British in it. Okay, I have a couple of campaign books where there's like D-Day, where the British are landing, you know, Pegasus Bridge and all that stuff. That would be really cool. But then I also have just recently acquired, and I almost forgot, a book called Market Garden. Okay, Market Garden has British. You can see it's on the cover, British, because you have the 1st Airborne at Arnhem, but you also that's on the back side, and then on the front side you got 30 Corps, an armored corps that's moving up the Hell's Highway up to Arnhem, and in the meantime, they run into the 101st at Vehgel and Son, and then they move on up to the 82nd, which is in Grave and Nijmegen, and then they move on to Arnhem and Groesbeek, the Groesbeek Heights and all that. And so that's the 30 Corps that runs up the highway. So that could be taking place at the same time as we play some American versus German stuff of the 101st and the 82nd. And then maybe there'll be some mixed stuff with the 101st and the 30 Corps against the Germans, you know, as they move up towards the 82nd. And then there could be some German. The Germans have a variety of different units there. They got these Wacht units, which are watch units, guard units. They're basically old men and young boys. They got those units, and then they have the SS. They have the Fallschirmjägers. They've got so grenadiers, line units, Wacht units, or Wacht, and so they've got a wide variety of unit types, and then the Allies have got a wide variety of unit types. They've got paratroopers, pathfinders, glider units, all from Americans. You've got the British. The British have their glider units, their Jeep reconnaissance units, their airborne units. They have the Polish brigade. So they've got. There's a large variety of troops. And then they got the armor, of course. You know, that whole armor, grenadiers and tanks and all that kind of stuff. So there's a huge selection just in this one campaign, Market Garden. Okay. I was going to use the Battle of the Bulge book to help me. I have been using the Battle of the Bulge book to help me with the Key to the West. But we're not going to do that. Now, I'm still putting this in my back pocket so that when we do play the Market Garden campaign, if the players like it and they dig it and they say, man, let's play some more of this, then we could follow on with the Battle of the Bulge. So, and that would be more of an inline time. We probably should do D-Day first, but we're not going to. We're going to do Market Garden. Okay, as another reason why I might have chosen Market Garden is because I haven't run any Market Garden campaigns ever. So I've always done Battle of the Bulge campaigns, either the Bastogne campaign or a Mass Front Lines or the Key to the West, but I've never run a Market Garden campaign. If we wanted to, we could play a massive game like at a convention, which I'm not going to do, but I've heard of people doing this, where they would have 3 giant tables, and then one would be the 101st, one would be the 82nd, another one would be the first para. But we're not going to do that, because that would just be a headache, and it would be way too much math and GMing, and no. So we're not going to do that. But here we could play like the 101st games, and then the next weekend we could play the 82nd game, and then the next weekend we could play the 1st Airborne game, and then another weekend we could play some 30 core. So we could do little pieces, snapshots of the battle, a lot like the movie The Longest Day. If not The Longest Day, not The Longest Day. The movie A Bridge Too Far. A Bridge Too Far, you took a snapshot of a battle, right? This battle happened, and then they would take you to another scene. This battle happened. Then they would take you to another scene. This battle happened. And imagine each of those scenes being like a scenario that we run as a campaign game. What that kind of does is takes the strategic, it includes a strategic layer, because what I'm going to have to probably do, and this is me just brainstorming with you guys right now, what I'm probably going to have to do is come up with a way that the Germans, depending on if they win certain battles, might get bonuses or penalties in other battles based on the success of the previous battle. And same thing with the paratroopers. Like if you lose this battle, then it might be harder to take the bridge. Or if you lose this battle, then when the 30 Corps is delayed an extra turn, an extra strategic turn, or something like that. That's what we're going to have to do. You might be penalized in points on the next fight or something like that. But I don't want to make it a strategic game in the fact that they're overall looking at a map, moving giant divisions around on a giant map, and how a lot like the way Key to the West was. So we'll do it, it'll be more of a more streamlined, hands-off approach for the players, in that they don't have to make the strategic decisions, they only need to make the tactical decisions, and then when they make those tactical decisions, that would affect the strategic game. And then as a referee, me, I would take those victories and those losses and affect the next game. And then I would go in and modify the units, give them their bonus minefields or whatever they're getting, and then when we come to play the next game, I'll say, okay guys, because the Americans lost this last game, the Germans get an extra tank or something. You know, I'll figure it out. Okay, now this campaign book, I was going through this last night. I've owned this book ever since it came out. Actually, I pre-ordered it and I got it day one. And why I did, I got a British paratrooper right there. I've got, yeah, the main character. What's his name? Never Surrender Operation Market Garden Special Figurine. Cool. Okay. There's like, I don't know how many scenarios are pre-made in this book. 26 scenarios are written in this book. If I can't take these 26 scenarios and make a campaign out of those 26 scenarios, then I don't even know why I'm miniature gaming. There's some additional rules and units that are only found in this area. There's some, like a British glider regiment, reinforced, you know, and the air landing platoon and all that stuff. So luckily all that is in the Market Garden book. Cool as hell. Okay, they have new rules for Pathfinders in here. I thought that was really cool. Okay, so I've got the Market Garden book for bolt action. I need to go through and maybe use Easy Army. That's an online resource that you can actually build your armies. Like if you were going to go to tournaments, you spend points, tells you, and it basically takes the books that you have They put it into like a database so that when you pick your units, it tells you how many points it is, it tells you what their abilities are, their stats. Easy Army is like, I highly recommend it when you're spending points on trying to build an army, especially like if you're going to a tournament or stuff. But that is not me. I'm not a tournament player, but I will build the armies and print them out so that I'm not concerned about the points so much. But I am going to use the points to kind of help me balance the scenario, but I'm not going to concern myself with it, because some scenarios the Allies are just going to way outnumber the Germans, and then there's other scenarios that the Germans are just going to way outnumber the Allies, and then there's other scenarios where it's going to be fair. I'm telling a story, historically the story, using the game as a storytelling method. I'm going to use Easy Army mainly to print the units out so that when the players come to play, they'll have their little Easy Army chart and it'll say what their stats are. That's really it, not the points. I'm not really too concerned with that. Okay, so that's me designing the scenarios. That's going to take a month or two, I think. Maybe even longer, maybe 3 or 4 months. So we're going to continue to play our role-playing game. It's while I'm working on this. Once I finish this campaign, the role-playing game is just going to end, boop, and we're going to start miniatures. Now let's start talking about the miniatures and the terrain. I have this 3D printed fountain. I have not done anything with it. It's like got a woman with a vase and water coming out, filling this fountain. This would be a great centerpiece in a village, like if there was a village town square or something like that. I think this would be a good spot. Even in Holland, I think that would be good. Buildings. Okay, I made these buildings here for D-Day. And I made 4 of these. They have removable roofs and the removable floors. If I wanted to, I could make it just a single-story building if I wanted. Or if I wanted to, I could add multiples of the second floor, and I could stack them up as high as I want and have a really tall row house. I made these row houses, I made them so that their sides would actually fit flush against a second row house. So there should be 4 of these. These are great. It didn't cost me that much and just took some time and effort to put it together. I need more, because if you're doing market garden, some of the bridges are in the middle of towns, and the whole concept is there's going to be like 20 or 30 buildings on the table. So I need to either make a bunch more of these, or I need to buy a bunch more of those. Now I bought this guy, and this is a Plastercraft building, and this Plastercraft building it's awesome, right? The back of it opens up. You can put models directly inside there. If you want, that's the second floor. That's a third, like, just so you can see out the dormer. That's cool. And if you want to put something on the ground floor, you just lift the building up, and you've got this ground floor here with the windows and the doors, and then you just slide this back down on top of it, and you've got your guys inside. Or if artillery or something rubbles this building, you could take this off and you could use that as the rubble. So I thought this Plastercraft building was top tier. So we're gonna maybe I'll get a few more of these. These guys would be great. I went to Sarissa. I saw that they have a bunch of row houses and just general houses, and I can get them for like 20 bucks a piece. And a Sarissa building for 20 bucks, to me, it's worth it, you know. And I can add a floor. You know how I did each of these floors here? You could get an additional floor like this for 6 bucks. So I would get like a building like this for 20, and then I could throw another floor on there for another 6. I thought that was economical. That's awesome. You know, I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to look into Plastercraft to see if I can find some more of those, maybe different styles. And I also looked at Foregrounds. Foreground makes a few buildings too. I might go that route. Not sure. I really like the foreground medieval hovel I got right there. I thought that was so foreground might be a way to go too. But I noticed the foregrounds are probably just a little bit more expensive, or they're just not the right shape or size. There was a reason. I can't remember what it was. It was late last night or when I was doing my research. But there was something about foreground that I didn't like. It was either they weren't shaped properly, or, in my opinion, or they were pricey, or their shipping was too much, or so, I can't remember. But it was something about I preferred the Sarissa and the Plasticraft. Okay, I'm going to need a lot of buildings. That's my point. I already have trees out the wazoo. I have hedges and fences and roads. I might need to work on building a better river because the objective for all of the airborne units were bridges. That's why it's called a bridge too far. So I got to make sure I've got the right bridges, and I got to make sure I've got the right rivers. I don't want a 1-inch river if this is a 28 millimeter bolt action game. The rivers are going to need to be like 2 feet wide, you know, or something like that. So the rivers are going to have to be fairly large. And I'm going to need girder bridges that go across them. One of the companies actually makes the Vehgel bridge. I might just order that one directly, and then I'll use it as the Son bridge or whatever. I won't be able to use it as the Arnhem bridge because that sucker should be gigantic. I don't know if I'm going to scratch build that or if I'm going to just fake it, or what. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. So I'm gonna need some bridges. I'm gonna need a bunch of buildings, and that should be it for the terrain. All right, now units. Let's start talking about units. I put it in order. This last weekend, for a little bit of everything. I ordered Commonwealth British. Those are the guys that would be in 30 core, right? I need to order some British Paras. I don't think I've ordered any of those. I need to order some British Paras. And then I have already got, sitting on the shelf over there, a platoon of Grenadiers, German Grenadiers. I need, and I think I've been using them as, I can use them as SS because, you know, they got the STG 44s and stuff. But I'm going to need some Fallschirmjägers, and I'm going to need some just Herr Germans, just some regular army. So I ordered 5 sprues of Commonwealth, 5 sprues of Herr Germans. I think I ordered 5 sprues of SS. So 5 sprues is going to be 30 models each. So that's like buying 3 box sets. And I think I did a 4th. I don't remember which one. Oh, regular Army Americans. Okay, I ordered regular Army Americans when I thought I was going to be doing. I ordered all of those figures when I was thinking I was going to be doing Battle of the Bulge. So that would be great. I'll just put them on the shelf and keep them. But I'm going to need to flesh out my paratroopers and my British paratroopers, my German Fallschirmjägers, German Grenadiers, German SS. I need to flesh all those out. So I'm going to just have to either order some sprues. Like I could order a sprue to fill in any gaps that I have in my units. Because I have a paratrooper sprue and a Grenadier sprue. So already I've had these, just haven't touched them. Okay, now the bolt action comes with these plastic 1-inch circles, and they're great for their models. You know, they fit right on. They got like a little lip and everything. It's perfect. I think I might use those metal fender washers just to give them a little extra weight on the bottom so they don't tip over. I think that's what I'm going to do. With all the new models, I think I'm going to put them on washers. Okay, that's the British guy. All right. I have spears. I got spears from the Battle of the Bulge book. I actually have like 3 of these actually. Because I made some orders, and it was like everybody that made an order got one of these, and I had made like 3 orders during that period. I know it's crazy. Because I ordered some Hail Caesar stuff, I ordered some bolt action stuff, and I ordered some, but it was a long time ago when I ordered it. And when I did, I got one of these in every one of the boxes. So I've got a bunch of these guys, and they can all be used in the same army. You know, it's just a dude carrying a Thompson. Okay, I have an American paratrooper 57mm anti-tank gun. Perfect, going to be able to use it. Haven't assembled it and painted it or anything yet. Now I have a Tiger tank. This is an artillery Tiger tank. That's all I've got. And then I've got an American Jeep that's only been primed black. I need to go through and maybe spray it with some OD green, and then start painting it. So those are the only assembled 28mm tanks I have. Okay, a couple of months ago you saw that I had picked up some World of Tanks. I know it's crazy, right? World of Tanks 28mm Panther, and then a World of Tanks 28mm Sherman, right? Well, this Sherman can be British. I could just paint it up as a British guy, but I think I might assemble it and paint it up like a British tank. I'm not sure. I might paint it up as an American tank and then just use it as a British tank. Okay, I also have this M8 M20. I got this free. It's an M8 or an M20. It's however I want to put it together. I got this free by being a member of the Warlord members. I'm a member of the Warlord Club or whatever they call it. And anytime I place an order, I get a free model. And this was one of them, an M8 or an M20. Is there an M8 or an M20 in the airborne units? No. But was I going to be able to use this in the Battle of the Bulge? Yes. And then this as well. This is an M3 Stuart. I probably won't be able to use that either in the Market Garden. So I'll probably put these 2 off to the side and just assemble these 2 and maybe assemble this. And each week I'll probably do a new model and record it and stuff like that so you can see what it's all about. And I've got all these models coming in. You're going to see the progress as I go. The Market Garden campaign. I anticipate, because this is May, so June, July, August, might have it ready by September, which would be really cool because Market Garden actually took place in September. So that would be a good way to start the campaign, would be to actually start at the same time they actually jumped into Holland. All right, well, that's about it for now. Just letting you know that's what's going to be going on for the next couple of months. So my RPG will go on for the next 4 months or so, and we might or might not continue with RPGs. Probably not. I'm going to take a break from role-playing. I'm going to take a break from dungeon mastering and go all in on miniatures, and we'll see if we can't have some fun, and we'll do some recordings and you get to watch all them. All right, thanks for coming out and checking out this Market Garden project introduction video. Come back every couple of days to see the new progress reports, and I'll catch you on the next one.